Pearl Harbor Day, observed every year on December 7th, remembers the attack on Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Pearl Harbor Day, also called Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, honors those who lost their lives. The Pearl Harbor attack is also known as the Hawaii Operation and Operation Z. Before the Pearl Harbor attack, the United States and Japan unsuccessfully attempted negotiations to find a peaceful solution. Tensions were increasing due to territorial claims in the Pacific. The U.S. had also placed an oil embargo on Japan. An embargo is an official ban on trade. This embargo blocked the Japanese from receiving important materials, such as steel and aviation fuel. Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, commander-in-chief of the Japanese naval forces, wanted to take over other countries. The U.S. base in Hawaii was close to these countries, and the Japanese anticipated that the U.S. would help defend those nations by sending soldiers for Pearl Harbor. The Japanese attacked the U.S. without warning on Sunday, December 7, 1941. The U.S. naval base located in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, was attacked by the Japanese Imperial Army. At that time, Hawaii was a U.S. territory, not yet a state. The attack was authorized by Emperor Hirohito of Japan. A few days before the attack, 31 Japanese warships carrying fighter planes and bombers silently headed into the North Pacific. A small Japanese plane flew over their target and radioed to others that Pearl Harbor sleeps. Just 5 days before the attack on Pearl Harbor, the U.S. received a warning that the Japanese were planning an attack in the Pacific. They were not told where or when, but those in command for the United States focused on the Far East. Pearl Harbor was never even mentioned. Japan attacked Pearl Harbor with hundreds of aircrafts, fighter jets, dive bombers, and torpedo planes. The Japanese dropped bombs on American warships and targeted U.S. aircrafts on the ground, so they couldn't fight back. The Japanese were trying to gain control over the Pacific. 19 U.S. naval vessels were sunk or damaged. 188 aircraft were destroyed. Over 2,000 servicemen and women were killed with another 1,100 wounded. 68 civilians were also killed. A civilian is a person who is not in the military. The attack lasted just 2 hours. The Japanese attack was an attempt to keep the United States from interfering with military actions in Asia. The Japanese believed the attack would destroy the Americans' Pacific Fleet, making it easier to spread across the Pacific Ocean. Japanese Commander Mitsuo Fukuda issued the attack order by shouting the code word Tora. 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 The Japanese made a major error when Admiral Nagumo canceled the third wave of air attacks. Some U.S. oil tanks were left undamaged, which allowed the U.S. Navy to quickly repair damaged ships. Pearl Harbor was still able to operate as a fully functional military base. Just 1 day after the Battle of Pearl Harbor, the United States declared war on Japan and entered World War II. President Franklin D. Roosevelt declared war on Japan with his famous infamy speech in front of the joint session of Congress. He stated, "Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy, the United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan." 3 days later, Japan's allies, Germany and Italy, declared war on the United States. In the 4 years that followed, the U.S. Navy sank all of the Japanese aircraft carriers, battleships, and cruisers that participated in the Pearl Harbor attack. The United States made allies with Great Britain, France, and Russia, among other countries. The Allied powers defeated Japan and its allies during World War II. Every year on December 7th, the President orders the United States flag to be displayed at all U.S. government buildings. The flag is flown at half-staff to honor those who were killed in Pearl Harbor. The USS Arizona Memorial, a national landmark, was built to commemorate Pearl Harbor and the brave people who fought. It was built on the water, floating above the sunken wreckage of the original USS Arizona. Visitors can view the remains of the sunken ship 40 feet below the water. Every president since Franklin D. Roosevelt has visited the USS Arizona Memorial Site. Other activities include wreath-laying ceremonies, speeches, media stories on survivors' recollections of the Pearl Harbor attack, and school activities to educate students about the attack on Pearl Harbor. The Japanese were guilty